Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me again. So this is a different one this week. Not a build video, but it's what I have built video. It's me talking about what's come to be known as the pile of shame. I think everyone has got one who works within our hobby. I went round a friend of mine's house the other day, and he has a garage of shame. I think he has a problem. Anyway, so yeah, this pile of shame that seems to be the catch-all for all your unfinished projects, not even started, halfway through, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go through some of my larger builds, because this is what the channel is about. It's about building the big models or the strange. So I've not included any sort of miniatures in this video. If you want me to do some of my work in progress miniatures that I've got boxes full of, then please leave a comment below. While you are leaving a comment below, as you go past, you'll see that subscribe button. Give that a little click. That'd be lovely. Just give it a little click. Actually, you know what? Do it now. Yeah, good. Ready? Yeah, you. Go on. That's it. Move it down, down. Click. Done. Excellent. Thank you so much. What a lovely gesture. So, anyway, I'm going to stop waffling because you're probably fed up with seeing my silly face. Here's about 4 or 5 works in progress models. Call them maquettes, if you will, sketches. Just me getting stuff out of my head into a 3D format. So, I hope you enjoy these, and I'll see you on the flip side. Enjoy. Okay, first up, but in no particular order, is this building. I built this probably about 2 years ago. So this shows you how long I actually do procrastinate on some models. Now, it's based on a bit of Games Workshop scenery that I think to buy it new is about 80 quid. It's had a bit of a battering because it's so old. And I've moved several times. It's taken a bit of a battering in several moves and stuff. But I wanted to show you this one because this is a good example of why I build certain things. So this was a proof of concept, really. What this was me seeing if I could build a piece of scenery that looked like an £80 piece of scenery. Literally for pennies. It's all basic stuff. I mean, I'm going to take it apart because it's not, bits of it have fallen off. So, I mean, the bricks are XPS foam bricks, cut up and textured and then just glued on. Any sort of substrate is just a piece of card, probably from a cereal box or maybe even a bit of chipboard. Anything wooden is a coffee stirrer. So anything wooden on there. And then any sort of rings are literally metal hoops and metal rings from somewhere like Hobbycraft. So yeah, and it was just built up. So that's like the little observatory that sits on. And then the main tower, again, I believe the main tower was chipboard, XPS foam bricks. This is that sort of yellow insulation foam with tissue paper and PVA glue and then some sand. Again, anything wooden is a coffee stirrer. Anything circular is probably a bit of round plastic card substrate. Styrofoam again, just but carved in bricks, and the shingles again are just individual tiles cut from card. So, yeah, this was, can I do it? Can I make a piece of scenery that I think, once it was painted, and if I ever got it painted, would pass for quite a high-end piece of scenery? And I think I achieved it. I think, even at this stage, I think you take a second glance to see that wasn't the plastic kit. So, that's the first part of my first piece in my pile of shame. Okay, next up we have this interesting wee beastie. So the Chaos players out there will probably know that this is my attempt to build a Forge World Greater Brass Scorpion. Again, this was a challenge for myself. I don't have a Chaos army at the moment. One day I will. Again, though, this was one of those challenges where I think to myself, I see a beautiful Forge World model, and I see the price, and I kind of balk. You know, I kind of think, oh, that is expensive for what it is. Now, I'm not saying games are expensive, and because if I don't, shouldn't do the hobby if you can't find it affordable. But again, it's me just pushing myself to see whether or not I can make something that's passable. So what's this made out of? Because there's all sorts of colours and bits and bobs in here. So there's this main body here. You can probably see inside here. This is one of those plastic toy snakes you can pick up like 10 of them in Tesco's or Asda or something like that for like £3, so like 30p. So that's one of those glued into that curved position and then wrapped in tin foil. And then I've used garden wire, Lego piping, bits of plastic rod, normal wire, actual twine, and then I've got a green stuff mould tube maker, and that's all been layered and wrapped around this central spine, I guess you would call it, and then I've used some very, very fine cable ties just to kind of look like it's bunched in. It's a bit rough on the top because this would have armor plates going on it. And what I would use for the armor plates would be the armor plates from a Defiler, because that's where the legs have come from. So the legs are from a Defiler, modified. I've extended them out somewhere. Again, is it something I would finish off? I don't know. Maybe one day. I think I need to find some more Defiler plates, but they're quite rare to get hold of now because Defilers are only available from direct, so you don't see many knocking about. The sort of head area is just very random bits from the bits box and bits of MDF, and I've got these parts in here because these would have the claws from a Defiler as well. And then this section here, this is just a part. I think this is from Forge World Titan. Somehow I've got some of them in my bits box. I don't know why, and that's would have gone up to something up here. That would have had some kind of gun mounted on there. So there we go. That's the Greater Brass Scorpion. Another entry into the pile of shame. Okay, so this is the way. For those of you who've watched The Mandalorian, I'm sure you can totally see where I was coming from with this model. So, I mean, this one is not far off it, really. I mean, it just needs a cockpit and then a paint job. It wasn't ever going to be a very important model, and it wasn't built for any specific reason other than I had, as you've seen in other videos, I've been trying to whittle down my bits box, and this was a whittled down from my bits box. I had the hull to a Valkyrie. I've got these MDF pieces, which you've seen me use in other builds, and I've got these engine cover things from the food pouches and some Yakult bottles, and it literally was just a coming together of those parts. At the time, I think I built this when Mandalorian Season 1 was out. Loved the show, love part 1, love part 2. Can't wait for part 3. So this is a kind of, it's not identical to the Razorcrest, but it's heavily inspired by the Razorcrest. And this would be used as a piece of scenery. Once it was painted, I would have just plonked it down, and especially with the little tug that I built a couple of videos back, or even the last video, I'm not sure. All depends when you're watching this. This and that together now would make a nice little bit of scenery. If you had like some fuel cans and some other cargo, it'd be quite like a little landing pad, like a little staging area. So that's what this was built for. No other reason than it's a piece of scenery, effectively. Obviously, it was just based on the Razorcrest from The Mandalorian. I mean, technically, I should smash this with a hammer now. No spoilers. But, yeah, so, yeah, there we go. So, yeah, it was predominantly the arse end of Valkyrie and Plasticard, MDF bits, and scrap bin. Scrap bin kind of stuff. The landing tracks, actually, this is quite interesting. These are bits of sprue. It's bits of sprue because you get that kind of half hexagonal shape to them. Don't know if you can see that there. So it's just bits of sprue glued to a bit of chipboard, bump, and glued onto the landing struts. So there we are. That was the way. That was the Razorcrest. Okay, so this one is, I can almost hear my fellow Ork players screaming at me to finish this one off. It's just the way us Ork players are when we see something that's been scratch built. So this is a Squiggoth. So again, another Forge World model that they make. But I made this one. I wanted one in an army. I'm very much a gamer of if it's cool. I'm a rule of cool gamer. I'm not a meta gamer. That's probably why I rarely win a game. I just go with: is it a cool concept? Is it a cool idea? Is it a cool model? And if any of those are yes, it goes in an army. So I wanted a Squiggoth. Now, why not just go and buy a Forge World Squiggoth? Yep, I could do that. Why not go and make one out of an old dinosaur or some kind of toy? Yep, I can do that. But I thought to myself, why not build a robotic Squiggoth? And this is kind of what this is. So this is going to be, or will be, if I ever get it finished, a robotic Squiggoth. You can see I originally had these bases up here. These are going to be these are the fixing points for the front arms or legs, however you want to call them. And they were originally up here, and that was too high. So I've adjusted it a bit. So they've been brought down. I have got the front legs somewhere. They go on in a kind of simian way. They're almost this almost looks like a gorilla with the front legs, which I'm fine with. That's not a bad problem to have. Little observation deck at the back here. This will have like a big sort of pressure door on it, and then it will have cannons coming out the front like so, and a head sort of down here. So it's kind of like that head down here. Influences on me was the ABC Warriors comic strips from 2000 AD. You had Mongrel. He was like a massive top half of a robot with like tiny little legs. So that was kind of the influence and the reasoning behind this one. It's primarily a stomper. It's a stomper kit, but sort of flipped. So that would be the front of a stomper. So it's been flipped, and then I've filled in the gaps with Fomex, and then other bits of plasticard, other parts of stomper that I've cut and trimmed, and other plates and stuff. And then it's been deliberately riveted, and I've put little hex nuts on there as well, and little places I've joined with little strips of plasticard as well to join some of the holes together and fill in some of the gaps. Still needs a fair amount of work to it, so it needs the back end doing around here. I mean, that may end up with like some kind of exhausts coming out the back. I think that'll look quite smart. Again, it needs its cannons and it needs its head. But overall, this is the model that looks at me a lot and says, finish me. And now we're getting new orcs. We're getting the beast snaggers coming out. This kind of fits within that theme. So this may end up in that army. Where we shall see. If you've been watching this video, comment below. What would you like me to finish off? How about that for a question? What would you like me to finish off from what I've shown you? It'd be interesting to find out, just to get your opinions. But without that, this is the one that's probably the one that would get finished off the most, because I've done so much work. I mean, putting all these rivets on, it's fairly time consuming. And I think when it's painted, it'll add to it. So yeah, let me know. So there we go. That's the mechanical Squiggoth. Another model entered into the Hall of Shame. And last, but by no means least, this thing. Yeah. So the reason this thing got built and then didn't get finished is because it's massive. It's far too big. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's a Necrofex Colossus from Total War. It's the Vampire Count, what they call pirates. Vampire Count's big lumbering monster, and it is huge. It's in several bits. Again, when I moved recently, it didn't really survive the move. I'll pick up what bits are still attached, so it's not too bad. But as you can see, I mean, it's ridiculously large. Again, this was one of those ones this was built in lockdown. So I'm just going to spin it around so you can see the back detail, and then I'll put it down. So there you go. So there we go. It's all falling apart now. But so it was built in lockdown. Lockdown 1. So my materials were very limited to what I could get in shops, that the essential shops. So yeah, one of the closest essential shops to me was a Poundland, which is, I guess, the Dollar Tree in America, or a similar sort of thing. So I can only use materials from there. Luckily, I have a lot of coffee stirrers. These coffee stirrers were bent by soaking them in water and then bending them in tubes and cups and various things, and then letting them dry. All the thick wood is from like a cat's toy. It was like literally a stick with a thing at the end, and then all the smaller things like this, you could probably see they're actually pencils shaved down. Kebab skewers, string, wire, tissue paper, and then various bits of bobs. So Lego wheels and chains, wheels from Warhammer kits, barrels from various places, anchors. I think there's an anchor in here somewhere. Yeah, there you go. Hang on, get out of it. There's an anchor in there. These are the zombies from the Plague kit. More coffee stirrers. These are those cheap hair curler things. Lego barrels. More cocktail sticks. More plastic card. The cannons are plastic tube with then these plastic. I don't know what they are. They're kind of wooden circular things from. Luckily, the Range is a shop in England. For all you guys who not from England, it's a shop that sells everything, and luckily they sell food, so they're also open during the lockdowns. So they have quite a big craft area, so that was quite handy as well. So yeah, Necrofex Colossus. This probably won't ever get finished. As I say, it's too big, to be useful. Yeah, I could probably fit it together and get it painted up as a display piece. But thing is, I'm building a smaller one. That's the thing. I'm going to be building a smaller one. I am making a Vampire Counts army just every now and again. It's not something I'm slavishly working on. It's just something I build a little bit for every now and again. And so I needed to make it the same size as the new Gargants in AOS, the new big giants. And this is twice the size of one of those. So yeah, it's far too big. But again, it was. I guess it was a useful exercise. It kept me busy during lockdown. It gave me something to do and think about whilst I was in lockdown. And as I say, it was an exercise it's almost a sketch, almost like a maquette, as it were. So, prototype 1 of building a Necrofex Colossus, really. One thing to point out is this part of this sort of boat section here is actually a plastic air freshener, which was hacked up and what's that, chipboard and stuff like that. So there we go. That's the Necrofex Colossus. Obviously, I've got hundreds of other figures I've started, miniatures and that kind of thing. But my channel's more for the big stuff, so I won't show you those. But so that was a Necrofex Colossus. This build kept me going in lockdown 1 in the UK. So it's got that's what it's got. I mean, I may glue it together one day and perhaps just give it a black or a brown just to give it some kind of statue. I don't know what I'll do with it. It may just end up just being gathering dust on a shelf somewhere, but that's what it is. The unfinished Necro. Alrighty then, there you go. So there's a little insight into some of the models that are sitting in shelves or in boxes in my studio, gathering dust. As I say, some of them might get finished. Possibly that Ork one. Don't know. But if there was one you saw and you want to think to yourself, come on, mate, get that done, that'd be awesome. As I mentioned earlier, whack it in the, excuse me, a bit of gas. Why is it whenever I go to sit down and talk on the computer, I get gas? It's terrible. I haven't even eaten them much, anything gassy. I don't really drink fizzy drinks. Not anymore. You wouldn't believe it, but I don't. So if there's any one of those you think to yourself, I wouldn't mind seeing that finished or taken to the next level, whack it in the comments below. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. So, as mentioned earlier, these models all fall into this catch-all term of pile of shame. I'll tell you one thing now. I'm not ashamed of any of those models. Why would I be? They're like sketches. It's like if you had a mounting of sketchbooks, if you were like an illustrator, or even concept sketches, they're not the full finished product. The finished product is what you see in a store or on a film or as a sculpted bit of work. But you have sketches and you have ideas and you have mood boards, and that's what I see these piles of shame as. They're mood boards. They are sketches, maquettes, if you will. So I'm not ashamed of my pile of shame. And you shouldn't be too. There, I've said it. Let's take a stand. Let's bring it back. Hashtag not ashamed of my pile of shame. How about that? Yeah? Come on. Let's do it, guys. Let's get some things on this. Get on Instagram and get on Facebook and put our models. Just have photographs of our bits boxes and videos on YouTube. Let's do it. Let's get them up there. Hashtag not ashamed of my pile of shame. It's not going to be a thing. I'm not hip enough. God, I don't know what to talk about half the time. Anyway, look, enough. As I said, hope you enjoyed that. That was just a little insight into my mind, how my mind works, how I develop models. I doubt if I'll get them finished. But as I said, let me know. It'll be interesting to find out. Anyway, new build next week coming. If it's what I'm planning, I think you'll be excited for it. It's got several massive builds coming up, which I don't think I'll be doing them within a week. It'll be like one video a month dedicated to this large build. So there's a couple of those coming up that I want to get out of my head. Got some collabs going on with a few people as well, which I'm excited to do. So that'll be fun. Next week we might go into the Underhive again, I'm thinking. Take a little delve back in because I've still got... I've still got 4 tiles to do to bring it up to the 9 that I wanted to have. So, yeah, next week, back to the Underhive, guys. So, make sure you've got rounds in your gun and you've got your laser dot sights fully charged. We'll go hunting again. All right, guys, you take care and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.